because due to traveling, team we only played Monday morning our time, because Mexico is some hours behind. So unfortunately, we had to wait. The field we came, on the same day we arrived along with Moko. But because players have played together so often with and against each other, I think that is not difficult to find. We're just putting the game plan in place, and when everyone's into model, we go a little bit deeper. But we've worked on a couple of things because we know it's a must-win. There's no second chance. Like Coach Tina says, it's a boxing match and it's the last round.
What's your assessment, though, Coach, from the 2 training sessions as you kind of prepare, though, for this massive assignment?
Look, we just want to make sure that we, tick all the boxes when we are training, make sure that we, from what the analysis that we did, and I'm sure likewise they will do it similar, that we tick those boxes and make sure that we train those things, because we could train all of those things and they could play differently. So we have technical meetings every night and discuss things and, what could happen, what might happen, so that we on the bench are aware. But we will have a meeting and also make the players aware of certain situations because from what we see might be different, so we have to be aware of all of those things. So we've been working on a couple of things, and hopefully it all comes together on Friday.
I know you might have addressed this issue a couple of times, though, with members of the media or with the immediate personnel. But for the sake of those who might not have been tracking the story, Des, and also those who've been on long weekends and long holidays that we've been encountering here in South Africa, what's the issue, though, around Andile Dlamini's withdrawal? Some saying medical reasons and others saying personal.
It's medical reasons. We got a notification from the club that she's been withdrawn due to medical reasons. And, everything was communicated to our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Tolani Ngwenya, and we redirected all the questions to him because he's in charge of all the medical stuff.
Okay, just the fitness, though. I know you mentioned the issues around Babanani Mbane, etc., around their fitness. Rafile Jane, how is she? How is she doing?
Well, she's doing reasonably well, finishing all the training sessions so far, no challenges. But we also know we have to have a plan B and a plan C because we don't know how everything is going to pan out. So, we decided to select 24 players to give us more options to make sure that we cover every eventuality. It's no one particular person, but it's just more options. Because we know some of our players are coming back from injury, and we want to make sure that we get as much out of everyone that we can get. And that's why we've brought in, extra players, because this is not just a game. This is to qualify for the Olympics. So we want to make sure that we give ourselves every chance that we can draw out of this to make sure that we come up with a positive result. But make no mistakes, not going to be an easy game. Nigeria are a fantastic team. They've shown throughout the years, the serial winners and all of that. And we've got to make sure that we're at our absolute best. We've gotten some good results, but that's water under the bridge because this is a completely new game.
I know you mentioned the magic word, which is the Olympic Games, which is what both yourselves and Nigeria want to qualify for. I don't want to scare you, but there's only 115 days left. What does that say to you and your immediate task?
Look, we're not looking too far ahead of ourselves. All we're worried about, we're concentrating on this particular 2 games. After that, you can then plan whatever you need to plan, but these 2 games, we've seen the draw, but it's about these 2 games first. If we take our eye over the ball, we might not focus on the task at hand, which is these 2 games now against Nigeria. And when we came back from Tanzania, we had our own month, but there was no rest because we jumped into it immediately to prepare for this occasion, which is Nigeria away and home. And likewise, we will do similar, but it's about these 2 games more than anything. Everything else is in the back of our heads, but it's about these 2 games that's in the forefront.
I know it was an intentional decision to travel early to acclimatize, as you said right at the top of the interview, that it's scorching hot up there in Abuja right now. So that has worked in your favor, but also the warm welcome that you got from the embassy and everything else. So I'm assuming that the girls have settled down pretty quickly and you just have to soldier on and follow the instructions as given to you and the technical team.
Yeah, no, most definitely. We settled in nicely. We had, like I said, Moko and Rafile Jane coming in. And then they've come in, every day we've had players come in. And it depended on when the last fixture was. We would have loved them to come in on the first, but unfortunately, we're playing on the morning of the first. It's very difficult for you then to travel because they are hours behind, in Mexico, hours behind. And Timmy was the last one in Mexico to play. Jermaine had played earlier, Hilda had played earlier, but Timmy was the last one to play, so it's really difficult to get them. But that is the nature of when you have international-based players. We've had it before. I remember the DR Congo game. Linda didn't play because Linda had arrived to the delay somewhere, and she had arrived much later. So she had no training session, and we didn't want to risk her getting an injury. But that was out of our hands. So we're quite used to players coming in at different times. We've been proactive in what we've done with the overseas-based players, so they know exactly, what we've done and about Nigeria. It was intentional that we do that because normally you come in and you have a big analysis and it's a day or two, but Timmy will always ask for the game because she's flying, she can watch a game, etc. So we've been intentional in what we sent them so that they have an idea by the time they get here what we're going to do, etc.
Right, final question. When are you naming your starting 11?
I name my starting 11 to the players, obviously, and then 90 minutes before the match starts, it goes up. But the players know, obviously, I have to let them know so that they need to be focused and need to be prepared.
So by Thursday?
Most probably,
yes. It's a massive game.
Don't call any of them.
No. Never in the history of my existence have I ever done that.
I'm joking, Robert. We've always been very, very ethical. We've always been upfront, etc. But we have to obviously let players know so that they can focus, so that they can mentally prepare themselves, visualize everything, and then obviously the next day we do a little bit more on team tactics and stuff just to and then it's the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive assignment for everybody. It's also a privilege and an honor for a lot of the girls out there to know what is at stake here. Des, to you and your charges, best of luck for Friday. Hopefully we will be able to connect up and update the nation as well. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thanks for having me, Robert, and enjoy the day.
Thank you so much. Des Rael is coming live from Nigeria there ahead of this massive game that they do have against the Nigerian national team. Well, their defender, though, Leboang Ramalepe, says that they are ready for the do-or-die clash, though, with the sworn rivals Nigeria in the Paris Olympics qualifiers. Banyana have been the most successful team on the continent recently, winning the Women's Africa Cup of Nations crown and also qualifying for back-to-back World Cups.
This coming game, it's tough. It's a tough one. Remember, both of us, we missed the last Olympics, so it's a do-or-die kind of game. So, Rena, as a team, I think we are ready because we know how important this is. So, it's a matter where we just have to go there and give our best. Now, personally, I feel like an away leg, if we start with an away leg, it's an advantage for us because remember, you still have home advantage. So, it's a matter of playing away, giving your all, and making sure you do your best. That's all you can do. It has to be a different ball game because remember those games are in the past, and then now it's a new challenge for both of us. Of which both teams we know how important this is. So to what happened, and then I think we're gonna lose ourselves. But now we just have to make sure we stay focused and make sure this coming game we approach it differently. Yeah, but now every day we always tell them like this game is important because Rena, remember in the next 4 years we're not going to be there, some of the senior players. So it's a matter of they must get the experience of going to the Olympics so they know how important this game it is. It's a do or die. When we win it, we go to the Olympics. When we don't win it, we just have to go home.
Yeah, we don't want them to go home, man. The South Africans have been very hard at work preparing for the first leg away to Nigeria at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja on Friday, 6 p.m. SA time. Now, after the team held their first training session in Abuja yesterday, with some of those overseas-based players, as Desiree was mentioning just a short while ago, such as Rafule Jane joining the group, Banyana were pretty much in high spirits, according to their midfielder, Nomvula Khaule.
Yes, absolutely. It's the last round until we qualify for the Olympics. So overall, the players look very happy. We just arrived yesterday, so we're just trying to get throw it and adjust to the weather. And we're just waiting for a couple of other players so that it can be a full squad. Yes, back at home, the air is much thinner. Over here, it's much heavier, but personally, I've played in the United States for almost 6 years. I know how it feels to play in this kind of weather. You almost feel like you're breathing heat. It's heavier. The grass is also heavier. But I'm sure maybe in 2 days' time, we would have adjusted and then we'll be ready to go. It's extremely important to be mentally tough. We know how Nigeria is so tough. They've won WAFCON so many times. They've done so well at the World Cup as well, as much as we have done so well. So we know that last time we beat them, so they'll be also looking for revenge. But this is going to be a really, really tough game here, away, and even at home. So it's going to be a tough one. But then I'm 100% sure we are ready mentally, physically, emotionally. We are ready to go.
All right, from breathing heat, as she says, to hopefully bringing on the heat. Good luck to the girls there. All right, Joseph Schooling, who beat, remember, Michael Phelps in the 100-meter butterfly to win Singapore's first and only Olympic gold medal at Rio de Janeiro back in 2016. Well, he's announced his retirement today. It was the American swimming legend Phelps' last individual race of his career. It also came after Phelps won a record 8 gold medals at the London Olympics back in 2012.
To say this is a bittersweet moment doesn't really do this moment justice. It's been filled with a lot of ups and downs. I'm sure by now you guys have already heard I'll be retiring from competitive swimming. But with every end of one chapter, we turn the page to a completely new journey, a new chapter. And although a lot has happened in the last 25, 26 years of my competitive career, I am looking forward and beyond excited to the next 25, 30, 40 years of my future career.
Right, Schooling also said that he has no regrets as he closed out his decorated career, but also felt that he had wasted some of the momentum of his Olympic triumph, saying, and he admitted, I got to respect him, he became a bit complacent.
Any regrets? You asked me that 5 years ago, I'd probably say yeah. After the Olympics 2016, kind of took my foot off the gas, and I was head and shoulders above everyone, got complacent, and I don't regret that right now, but I still wonder, what if we just kept going along that path?
Yeah, what about the what ifs, man? What if boxing was great? What if boxing had no politics? What if boxing happened in the ring and not in courts? What if boxing was not in the boardroom? What if? Well, that's a big question as we head off to a break. And after the break, though, we have the chairperson of the National Professional Boxing Promoters Association, Ayanda Matiti, live in studio. Remember, not once, not twice. On 3 occasions, he said to the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, are you up to it? Yeah, let's head off. Let's go to court. Today was round 3 of that duel and that bout. Find out more.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
When I bought my daughter her first car, I added it to My Wheels comprehensive cover from My Way. And just like that, I saved up to 25% on my monthly premiums. See, a big family can have its benefits because I have extra cash in my pocket. Now that's value for money.
Move for value. Move to My Way today and get My Wheels comprehensive cover from 28 Rand per day. For a quote, visit myway.co.za or SMS MOVE to 44430. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent. Standard rates and T's and C's apply.
Save big on fresh at Food Lovers Market with Big Deal Wednesday. Buy 2 Crown pumpkins for only 49 Rand and get a cabbage and a 1 kg carrot thrift pack absolutely free. And enjoy delicious pork braai chops for just 49.99 per kilo. Now that's great value. Valid this Wednesday only at all inland Food Lovers Market stores. The best in fresh, guaranteed.
Hollywood Bets is ready to take you to the skies with Aviator. clear for takeoff, and your chance to win up to 10 million rand per flight with instant results every 90 seconds and multipliers that keep you on the edge of your seat. Bet online now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
What would you do if Astron Energy matched your payday? Grab a new generator for Ukoko. Help pay off your kids' school fees. Finally go on a dream family holiday. Or put a deposit down for your wedding. All you need to do is fill up with Cortec for 500 Rand or more at any Astron Energy forecourt, and you can stand a chance to match your payday each week until the 5th of May 2024. Astron Energy Rewards members get an extra 5,000 Rand bonus if they win. T's and C's apply.
Forget the Easter Bunny. It's time to meet your Easter buddy. Join us from March 15th to April 7th and let our friendly staff guide you to incredible offers, making this season the ultimate DIY adventure. Need perfect paint? We'll hop to it with 10% off all chamber value paint mixing. Plus, enjoy a free cappuccino while you wait. Let your Easter buddy assist you in stocking up on all things DIY, from camping gear to power tools and pet essentials. Don't delay or you'll be hopping mad you missed out. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Are you ready to spill the tea, sis? Well, hold that thought. Let's get together and spill the positivity on something sweeter. Oma Rusks. Picture this. Cozy chats with your besties over tea or coffee with a freshly opened box of Oma Rusks just waiting to be dipped. It's time to ditch the drama and spill the tea on something tasty. Oma makes snack time dipping delicious.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Ayanda Matiti, the former SAFA vice president, joins me on the line.
I think they were out of their mind, honest. This matter, Marawa, it's far from being over.
Why do you say
if I do not get the result, I'll end up in the Constitutional Court. Because I cannot, we need justice for football. It's actually not justice for Real Duaba. It is justice for football. We cannot continue to have an organization that wakes up in the morning and decides what they want to do. Can you ask SAFA to provide you with the notice of that meeting where they took a decision to declare me persona non grata? I'm sure there is no such meeting.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. I would like to say job well done for supporting Banyana because they currently need our support, and your support is a valuable one, Mr. Marawa. But some media personalities going to pop up when they have qualified for the Olympics. And also, Mr. Marawa, I'm a bit concerned about our support when they play Nigeria, I'm sure, on Wednesday. In Nigeria, I think the Nigerians will fill their stadium. But will we fill our stadiums? Thanks, David in Parkwood.
David in Parkwood, thank you so much indeed. That's the big question. Will South Africans fill up the stadium when Banyana take on Nigeria here? Or will the Nigerians who are in South Africa fill up the stadium more than South Africans? All right, let's hopefully we prove them wrong. Good luck to them. And as we turn our attention now, very important conversation. I think we've been on this matter ever since, towards the end of last year when it started bubbling under. And it seems that there might be a little bit of a positive outcome, though, in the ongoing legal dispute between the National Professional Boxing Promoters Association, the NPBPA, and also the Sports Ministry. After months of court battles, well, they've taken legal action against the Minister of Sports, Zizi Godwa, alleging lack of consultation before the announcement of the BSA board, which has since been interdicted. Now, the two parties were back in court again today in Pretoria, but the hearing was postponed until next week to give them a bit of a chance, as I'm told, to reach an agreement. Now, Mr. Ayanda Matiti, the chairperson of the National Professional Boxing Promoters Association, well, he joins me in studio. Finally, he's had a very busy schedule to discuss this matter further. Mr. Matiti, good to see you, man. Welcome to the show.
Evening, Rob. Evening to your listeners.
Is it, in football terms, 3-0 to yourself right now, as well as the Promoters Association?
Well, We're not scoring. All we're interested in is to ensure that in South Africa, boxing takes place within the ambits of the law.
So if you're not scoring, we are scoring. So remember, boxers don't score themselves. They, they are personnel that are given that opportunity. So if you track back to the 3 court battles, I would include today as being one. How do you rate those? I mean, do you feel that you've been fighting a fair war and you've been given a fair hearing?
Well, you would remember that we never wanted to go to court from the onset. I've been harping on how the matter started and where we are and who's responsible and what have you. But our own intention has always been to resolve the matter amicably in a boardroom. Failing which, find an instrument or rather an institution that can independently use its own mechanism to interpret whatever that we may be indifferent about with the Minister of Sports.
But why do you think that those mechanisms were not enacted to? Why do you think from the onset that was not the wish from the other side? Because, the appointment of the board went ahead regardless.
Well, it would not have been the wish from the point of view of the minister. Remember, we wrote to him, in fact, long before the board was appointed. We wrote to him as a sitting minister that had been announced as a president, minister taking over after Nat, Comrade Nat. And the intention was to share both challenges, constraints, and areas that we think him being introduced in the office, he can rather decisively intervene onto. So we wrote to him as early as July last year.
What was the response?
And the issue was not about the board.
Yeah.
Obviously, you would not imagine that as people that are part of the creature, we're all creatures of the act, including the minister. So we're not stepkids. We're all creatures of the act.
Of which he should know, because he is a minister within, Parliament.
Well, you would assume he knows that.
Yeah.
But when we're writing, because we're players in the space, the minister is not a player. It's just his role is limited in the context of the act. It is to appoint the board. It is to promulgate regulations. So the regulator, which is the board that he appoints, would consolidate whatever that needs to be changed, take to the minister, he takes it to Parliament. So the act then, I'm sure those who were drafting the act had appreciated that in the near future there will be such a development where a minister either consults or does not consult. And our view was that, look, we're a recognized association given rise by this act. We're recognized by the regulatory body, which is Boxing South Africa. We had gone to our AGM, we elected for 3 years. So, which is something that is very significant. It's fundamental. The power for the minister to appoint the board is the authority that we're not questioning. It's not under contest. But he must not be excited with that authority, exercising that authority, and disregard or leave out the obligation that comes with it.
Of the
which
consultation.
Is of the consultation.
Yeah.
Now, along the way, because the minister wrote to us, he wrote to me as the national chairperson to say, look, I will be undertaking a process because the current board's term would come to an end on the 11th. So you must then participate in nominating, upon which the process will then be open to all South Africans and everybody else. We noted and we appreciated that. But well, to some quarters, or most probably, arguably, even the minister, that amounted to consultation. And to us, it doesn't.
But that's a significant thing. And maybe let's hop on that before you move on to your next thought, is to say, when he reached out and you said, who would you nominate? And then you regarded that as not being consultation. What did you what term would you give that then? If it's not consultation, it would be termed as what?
It's an invitation to nominate. It's given to all South Africans. Remember, we're exclusive players. South Africans would nominate. They're not creatures of the act. So we're promoters. We're an association of promoters. I am responsible for my own brand, Professional Outlook, which is an international presence. Others who may lead the association are responsible for their own promotional companies. The invitation was not sent to my company. It's not supposed to be sent because that's not what the act says. The invitation was not sent to other South Africans who nominated, because the invitation was sent to everybody beyond those who are part and parcel of the association. So consultation in our context means that after the minister has done all of that, whether shortlisting, when he then is clear that technically the process is almost summarized. Here are the 10 names or 15. Let me then call the associations or federation if it exists. Associations would mean it goes beyond ourselves, but we're the only ones who are recognized, we're the only ones who are coordinated, who are elected, who have got leadership. So it goes beyond us. It talks to boxers, managers, trainers. And if we all have associations, we'll then establish a federation. But there's nothing in the act that says, if you are the only ones that are active, we've always been active in the life of sport because of our overarching responsibility. We invest money, we pay boxers, they pay trainers and managers. We pay sanctioning fees to Boxing South Africa. So our role is then, that is why we would be at liberty to consciously coordinate ourselves so that whatever that may affect our business of developing boxing, whatever that affects it, we're able to represent our interest in a coordinated fashion. So I'm clear in my mind, and we're clear as leadership that the consultation never took place because it should have written to us. They were supposed to have been in a meeting. They're supposed to have been a register. Then, in our view, we're supposed to say, here are the names that I'm considering appointing. Let's engage.
So with that invitation to nominate, you did not respond to? Or you did, but you then cited the wrongful nature of what he had done as opposed to putting forward that when it came to a consultation perspective. Did you respond to the nomination?
We did respond, but we did not have to cite the error.
The reason.
Yes, we did not have to cite the error because me and him were talking about the communication, the correspondence that we had sent. We were obviously supposed to meet. He then postponed the meeting because of the rugby, the Netball World Cup in Cape Town, and rugby, etc. Now, his office then confirmed the meeting for the 28th of November. For specific items. So we then felt, look, we will use this platform to remind him that in any event, you in the process that you are, or in you using your authority, you must be mindful of the fact that you've got to consult us as the association. So I think on the 24th or 25th of November, we just saw the media circulation that the minister will be appointing the board on the 28th of November.
And what did that say to you?
The minister has a scheduled meeting confirmed by his office to meet with us. I mean, the meeting, he does not follow up, his office does not follow up on the meeting because they must give us the venue, they must give us who must take flights and get into the meeting. So it was clear to us that the meeting is not taking place because he is announcing a board.
But did you feel that you were being snubbed at that stage?
Exactly.
And what is the response? So you feel snubbed, you see a media, circulation of an announcement that the appointment of a board, who you didn't know the personnel of that board, I would imagine, at that time.
No, we were not aware.
So when the names pop up, are you taken aback by the names of the people that had been put on the board, or you still taken up by the lack of consultation?
Well, both.
But which one greater than the other?
They're equally important.
Yeah.
Both the process and the outcome is equally important. So we write to him, say, look, we're of the view that you have had, you may not be aware of this thing, because people are ministers. They're advised. They may be advised incorrectly. Kindly confirm if you are to meet with us within this particular period, so that if possible, we're able to avert a court process. We do that. It disregards the correspondence. So we then go to court. The matter is scheduled for the 11th of December for both Part A and Part B. Now our counsels, which is something that is equal to what has happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
Because it was through our senior counsel that we then got to hear that the minister has expressed an intention of us meeting. But we're very clear, because of our experience, that the matter must not be stand down in court outside of it being reminded back in court. So
which is exactly what happened today. So just to put the listener into perspective of what's happened in court today, then who requested for the particular matter to stand down until this amicable solution has been found?
It's the minister.
The minister requested.
Yes.
No objection from your side.
No, I mean, it will be wrong for us not to, when the minister says, he may not necessarily say I've erred,
yes,
or I've been ill-advised. But when he says, look, kindly engage your client, is it possible for us to meet, try and find a solution, if possible, outside of court settlement?
And then the court says come back again next week, which shows again the urgency.
Yes, the urgency is still there, because we first had to ensure that the matter is stood down and there's a date is stood down for next week. So we then engage into, because we're getting into discussions, first meeting tomorrow. But without losing track of what I was trying to say, we then met on the 11th of December. Minister's legal team was not ready, but it almost inclined to our legal team that, look, you may be correct, that the minister has disregarded the law. Is it possible for your clients to agree that the current board be converted to an interim board subject to part both A and B being finalized? We said no, because it can't. We can't agree to a scenario where we say you have not followed the law. You say okay, fine. In fact, they said, I'm misrepresenting it. They said we'll then undertake a process of consultation and affirm a board, but allow this one to be an interim. We disregarded that. We did not agree on that one. They said, okay, fine, let's go and solicit a view from the minister, an undertaking. The court said, you must be back at 2, you must file. They must respond at 4, the case proceeds. The counsels of the minister came back with an undertaking that the minister is now agreeing that the matter, because the judge has given them dates, that he'll be available on Wednesday, which is the 13th.
Yeah.
So the minister made an undertaking that the board will not resume office the following day, subject to Part A being finalized for agents. In the evening, we're not sure what happened or what would have been the basis, but he revoked the undertaking. Remember, when the undertaking was made, it was made through both advocates, then it was reported to court, so it becomes a court decision. So when you revoked it, I'm not sure who advised you, what were you thinking, because we are still going to the same court, because we'll say the decision of court is being undermined. So on Wednesday, the court then took the following significant decision. One, we're interdicting the board. It will not act on behalf of the Board of Boxing South Africa. It shall not go to office. It will not speak on behalf of boxing. But 2, critical to the stalemate now, it withdrew and revoked now the announcement, not the board, the announcement made by the minister on the 28th of November, subject to Part B being finalized. So, when you then revoke the announcement, you then, by implication, means that the board that said whatever decision it took is nullity.
Yeah.
That board, without having, you would assume that there are professionals drawn from different sectors in South Africa put up into a board. Remember, there would have been a legitimate board appointed by a different minister.
Let's hold that thought. I'm cutting you because, with radio we don't have the luxury of going a little bit further in terms of the engagement, but I do appreciate that in terms of detail. But we will come back from the break, though. We'll find out from Ayanda Matiti, the chairperson of the National Professional Boxing Promoters Association, whether he has full backing of the association members.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. At the same time. #MSW.
Unforgettable happens when the young and the old know they can surf, snorkel, fish, enjoy whale watching, and end the day with sundowners Neshisa Nyama. KwaZulu-Natal is a jewel waiting to happen. Ziyakhipha. With hiking, horse riding, biking, ziplining, and mountain biking adventures waiting for the fearless and the bold. Unforgettable happens here. Zwagala. Brought to you by Tourism KwaZulu-Natal.
Real savings, real benefits. Here's what real clients say about OUTsurance.
My name is Alan. I'm 71 years of age and I live in Douglasdale. I'm paying 554 Rand a month for my 2022 Nissan Magnite.
Want a car insurance premium that'll blow your mind? SMS out to 30601 now for a quote. It's quick, it's easy, and it could save you hundreds of rands every month. Here's Amy.
To anyone who has not reached out to OUTsurance, what are you doing? Reach out today.
Blow your mind, not your paycheck. SMS out to 30601 and see for yourself why OUTsurance was voted Best Car Insurer 2023 by the Star and Pretoria newsreaders. Here's Yusuf.
It just shows that OUTsurance is top of the tops when it comes to insurers.
SMS out to 30601 now. That's out to 30601. OUTsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and limits apply. Premiums are risk profile dependent and reviewed annually. Client comments do not constitute financial advice.
We weren't born to stand still. You know what I'm talking about. The itchy feet, constantly on the hunt for the next hustle, the next adventure, the next horizon. We get it. It's in our DNA. This inner drive to push, own our path, and be more. Which is why we're excited to introduce the all-new Suzuki Jimny 5-Door.
The Suzuki Jimny 5-Door, born for the urban jungle and more. Now with extra space, wireless connectivity, and rear-view camera. Suzuki Jimny 5-Door, born for more. Available from 429,900.
Ah, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers two options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual-action soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple-action pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
Get ready for your ultimate driving experience with Beijing X55 from Bike. Voted Car of the Year 2023 and Top Gear Award winner. It's indeed the epitome of excellence. And now, for a limited time, enjoy reduced installments starting from just 6,399 per month with 0% deposit. But hurry, while stocks last. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your nearest dealership today and seize this unbeatable offer.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Coach of Amazulu here with us in studio. The head coach, Spanish-born gentleman, Pablo Franco Martins here with me in studio. The president of the club has recently spoken about wanting to finish in second position. Then he says, if that is unattainable, then he would love to finish in fourth position.
Again, this is part of the vision both the president and myself share. We want Amazulu to be consistently in the top 4 because we want to represent South Africa in the continent. We want Amazulu to be part of the teams playing Champions League or CAF. But we are always there. We are always trying. We are always fighting. We are always showing that we are a team with a clear identity.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
All right, in conversation, boxing taking center stage. Hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide, live at 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. Chairperson of the National Professional Boxing Promoters Association, that's Ayanda Matiti, is my guest here today. And as we headed to the break, we were in deep conversation about the court processes and what's been happening. He gave us a lay of the land historically of what has gone on and why we are where we are today. And this could it have been averted or not? Well, that is all left up in the air. I guess in summary, as far as all of these court proceedings and, next one's going to be next week, as what the court has said, do you think this could have all been avoided had there been a meeting of minds last year, give or take round about November?
Well, this could have been avoided. You would remember that if we're saying what brought us to court today is not Part B, because Part B is in August on the 7th. Of course, the minister would have tendered a motion or a notice to withdraw on Part B. That's fine. We've not entertained nor expressed a view on that one. We noted that development. But this could have been averted because the decision that was taken by that board, the order nullifies that decision. Now, we then wrote to the minister to say, our understanding is that Mr. Ntlanganiso is not supposed to be in office as the acting CE. Instead, they started communicating Mr. Ntlanganiso. If he writes communications, he then says Boxing South Africa instead of acting CE. Fine. Two, you would remember that there are boxers that went outside of the country. What you merely need there is clearance. Clearance from Boxing South Africa. What does it need? It need a letter that confirms that you are a boxer that is recognized and known by a commission in South Africa. But the person who's under question signed that clearance. In Boxing South Africa, there's an acting director of operations, Nedis.
Yes.
All you need to do is to say, Nonjinga or Jackson Chauke, they are our boxers, you send the clearance. Now, if the implications are dire, but we're not there.
No, but let's put you there because you've taken us there. Are you saying indirectly or directly that Nonjinga's departure from the country and coming back as a world champion would be deemed an illegal act?
There was no need for Mandla to sign that letter. Because there's Mnedis, who's an acting director of operations, because when there's a dark cloud, when you are being questioned, why would you mad then an exit of someone who brings us a world title, who reconnects us with our historical glory in the world?
But was it done properly in terms of what your knowledge is? Was this done in a proper way? Was he out of the country in boxing terms illegally?
No, this was done properly, but the person who signed is illegitimate. Now, the implications could be that if a world body, or assuming that I was a promoter of a person who lost the title, and I get access of the first order, not the other, just the first order, the order that withdraws and revokes the decision of the minister. So do the maths. Legally, people can get to a conclusion, Kuti. That letter, because the letter must then be received by a hosting promoter and a well-sanctioning body. But that's not where I don't want us to.
But you were saying though that if it gets there, the results could be dire.
I could give you another example. Yeah. If a boxer dies in the ring, because remember this what brings us to court now is contempt. But contempt after contempt, you then appoint the same person. You could have appointed Robert Marawa, would still contest you. That you can't appoint Robert Marawa on the strength of PFMA, and Robert Marawa assumes the powers of the board. because the board must, remember every time we have a media briefing, we say there must be a sanctioning committee and the ratings committee. That gets followed by that, but it's done by a person. So you need to have a board that then has its own subcommittee. There are two. They're very critical. They're the belly of boxing in South Africa. It's the sanctioning committee, it's the ratings committee. Recently, just over the weekend, there are boxers who were approved to fight for titles, but they are coming from a loss. Now, the regulations are clear that to fight for a title, you must either be coming from a draw or from a win.
Yeah.
But you have this mess. Under whose watch is this mess taking place? Because you could either be very deceitful. The person who listens to you with the authority does not understand that you are still very wet behind the ears. But even if you are wise, but your wisdom, you are an embodiment of a rotten apple emerging out of a rotten tree. So the court must still arrive to that determination. Is its order undermined? But two, can PFMA, which is limited to finances in terms of the authority, because the Act is very clear in terms of what could, if the whatever that is in the Act is in conflict, it's only the Constitution that prevails over the Act, and PFMA only on financial matters. Because you must then go to PFMA and say, what are the limitations of the person that you are bringing into the space? But you can't then bring the person through PFMA and assume that this person will assume the overall authority and responsibilities of the board. It's not done.
And you challenge that? I mean, in case of what you're saying, the clearance issue for me is big. I know you use the example of what happens if a boxer passes away in the ring, and we might have just glossed over that, but it has massive implications. But is there a sanction that is required in terms of a commission, for example? Or there isn't? I mean, what's the clear guideline? What can you tell us in terms of your knowledge of that? Because you've flagged it right now, but what does the law say?
Remember, if Robert Marawa, worldwide. Now, if there's someone with the authority here, if for whatever reason through your internal channels you suspend that person, and that person in his house signs a letter that grants permission to someone else to act with an institution that relates with this organization. The implication is that that person would have acted outside the parameters of how this institution is understood and perceived. Remember, this is not limited to South Africa.
Yeah.
Any boxer going to a different country across the world must bring boxers that are coming to South Africa from Philippines, Mexico, Britain. They bring clearance from a commission. Now, if you then you would remember that there would have been when I'm not sure whether it was Minister Stoffile, but there would have been the late Joe Manyati. There would have been a letter that was purported to be coming from the sports minister from South Africa to USA. And that letter was a fraudulent letter sent to an international organization because there were talks in South Africa. But that was an illegal letter. South Africa could not defend that letter abroad. I may not remember the details of the case as it were. But it's something similar to that.
All right. Not to exhaust that one, but let me quickly just draw to you, because a number of people would say, how many promoters is Mr. Matiti representing?
Well, you would remember, and this process brings that into the fore.
Yeah.
All of us want boxing as yesterday.
Yeah.
Now people are frustrated, saying boxing is not happening. Remember, when you are not when you are doing something that is outside of the law, you go and mobilize people fraudulently, or you give a narrative that is incorrect, baseless. And that has taken place during this process. But what we had gathered against jealously, we said all of us who have champions across the country, who have relations with different gyms that has got trainers and managers, they must not join that fray.
But give me a number, though. How many promoters are you representing?
We're representing promoters in South Africa. In totality, there are plus minus 60. The number has dropped, but when we were elected, we're 70-something, almost 80. And we're contested. We're highly contested.
So about 60?
Yes.
So with the contestation of Minister Godwa, for example, let's say it's 60. How many of those were in support and how many were against?
Almost 40.
40 were in support of?
Yes, that's why we're elected.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in terms of going to court,
no,
you can elect someone, but then not agree as far as ideals are concerned. You know, others, they might elect you, but say, hey, you know what, chairperson, maybe that's not a good idea for us to go to court.
Remember, we're elected to lead. We're not elected to fundraise numbers on strategic and fundamental decisions. We're a national executive committee that is empowered by the Constitution to act. What we did when we took this decision, when an NEC composed of reps from provinces, we extended that meeting to reps more than the ones that are outlined in the Constitution. And everybody unanimously agreed that we must act in protecting this act because it's under violation, serious violation by the authority. Now, you would imagine that this process has not been immune from some whom contested us.
Right.
Lashing back to say, minister or whoever that is in boxing South Africa, we do not support that view.
But can I go online somewhere and say, okay, these are the 60 that support or are elected that you represent? I mean, is there that list that has gone public that we can refer to that stands as proof that, yes, these are the 60 people as opposed to any other number that we might bring to the table?
No, you must give us the number that disagrees with our decision.
No, but just the number in total that you represent.
We have the Constitution. I'm saying in South Africa, the promoters that were, when we were elected, they were plus minus 80. But currently, the ones that were recognized and approved in terms of their licenses, they're above 60.
Who would have said, yes, here's our man.
No, we did not that's the issue that I'm trying to respond to. We did not need a yes of each and every person.
But majority would normally
yes.
rule. Yeah.
We do have that majority.
And you put it at
and
about
if someone wants to test us, you can test us. But it's late for that because remember, you can do that. There's been a process of trying to also activate associations that are non-existent. Because remember, when you question the process beyond this board's appointment, you must then ask yourself, before, in the context of the previous board, were there other associations that were prominent, that were in the space?
I suppose in the same way we would say, with the same processes applied previously. Mr. Matiti, that's all the time that we have. Hopefully, in the week after the last court appearance, I hope it's the last one, we will get finality, and who knows, maybe yourself and the minister might be in studio at the same time.
Yes, I hope that we'll be shaking hands here in the same studio as well.
So.
We hope this matter comes to an end as well, but if it doesn't, then it will be unfortunate.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.